Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Palina here, and today I want to share with you what's it like winter in Spain. We're gonna talk about the weather here, the clothes, the heating in the flat, and so on. If you're curious, if you don't know what to expect from winter in Spain, if it's your first year, continue watching. I'm just sipping on my tea here, like I always do, because it's freaking cold all the time in the flat in winter in Spain. But more about that later. So what I'm sharing with you is based on my experience of living in Catalonia. So of course the weather here is a bit colder than on the south of Spain, for example, but I live on the coast, so actually when you live close to the sea, the temperatures, the weather is generally milder. But I think most of the things that I'm going to be talking about is relatable to the whole country. So the minimum temperatures here on the coast are around 2-3 degrees. It never goes below that. It never approaches zero. So that is because when you live so close to the Mediterranean, and Mediterranean is still a warm sea, it just can't go below zero or even close to zero. Like it never happens here. And if you think about it, 2-3 degrees in winter, it's quite cold. Because personally, when I was going to Spain for the first time, I had the idea that it's like always summer. I really thought that it never, like, you just can wear summer clothes all year long. But yeah, it's not like that. But even though it can be quite cold, most of the days it's still sunny. Like really, most of the days it's the weather is really nice and sunny. There can be storms here and there, some rains, but it never lasts more than 2-3 days. You know, like in Russia, where I come from, it could be like proper weeks of just rain and grey weather and nothing, no sun for months. So here it's still 90% of the days it's still sunny, which is really nice. So today is 3rd of December, and actually this night it was 4 degrees, which is really cold. Because even these temperatures, it happens really seldom. And it was only at night. During the day, especially if it's sunny, it's always above 10 degrees, I would say. And if the temperatures really drop, again, it never lasts really long. Even just a week ago, I went outside and I was wearing like a winter jacket, like a Spanish winter jacket. And it was so hot, I had to remove everything and I was just in my t-shirt and it was still hot on the sun. I thought you could really sunbathe that day, and it was just several days ago. So it really changes and it varies like from one week to another. So now the temperatures dropped, and the temperatures inside really also immediately dropped. Like it becomes immediately super cold inside of your apartment. So the cold in the flat is a topic that I talked about before in my other videos. And it's just such a painful topic for me, and it depends where you come from, of how uncomfortable you're gonna feel in winter in Spain. Because if you come from like more Nordic countries where you're used to having heating all winter long, you know, like through the whole winter, you're gonna be in a shock of how freaking cold it is in your flat, in your apartment. I come from Russia, where we have central heating from like September or October to maybe April or May. Central heating means that we can't even regulate it in Russia. Like the government or whatever turns on the heating at the same time in the whole city, for example. So for me, it's normal to be in a t-shirt in the middle of the winter in the flat. And when I first came here in my first year, I was really in a shock because I'm constantly freezing. I think I never had like a good thermometer at home, but I really think that sometimes the temperature at home would be like 10 to 15 degrees, because you're in a sweater, in like really thick pants, and you're still cold. Like I enter home coming from outside and I don't feel any difference. Actually, sometimes it's colder inside of the flat because outside it's sunny and the sun heats up even in winter, but inside of your flat it's just constantly cold. So for me it came as a shock, to be honest. The houses here are not built for cold, okay? I don't know how they're built, but basically the temperature inside and outside is not that different. You know, if it's super hot in summer, it's gonna be hot inside, and if it's super cold in winter, it's gonna be freakishly cold inside of your flat. So if the temperature goes to like 4 degrees at night, and you're gonna need like the thickest pyjama that you have, the thickest blanket, the sweaters, you know, you're gonna sleep with socks. And I heard that some people actually in the central Spain, like Madrid, I heard that winters there are even colder than here in Catalonia, even though it's more on the south, but it's far away from the sea. So in there, the like it's so cold, people actually use something called electrical sheets or electric sheets. I had no idea this existed until I came to Spain, and I'm from the north of Russia. So yeah, people use something like electrical heated sheets. That's how cold it is in winter. But let's talk about the heating. So how is it possible, right, that it's so cold? So basically Spanish houses, most of the Spanish houses don't have heating, period. Some of them do, but I don't know. I lived in 3 apartments during the past 5 years, and this is the first time I have actually heating. But even when I searched for flats, you know, before I moved, I always spent weeks searching for an apartment, and I think 70% of the flats don't have heating. And I'm gonna show you how it is. So when I say heating, I basically just mean these bodies on the walls. I mean, pretty straightforward, right? It's a water heater on the walls. You can't regulate the temperature in this one, but in the newer ones you can regulate it. And I'm actually super lucky because these ones that I have here are heated up by gas. So the water heaters, but the water heated up by gas, which makes it much cheaper than the electrical ones. But it's very rare. I haven't seen the gas heaters in other flats, to be honest. Usually it's electrical ones. And this was incredible luck, and that's why I actually picked this flat immediately. On top of other things, like I really liked the flat, it was central and everything, but when I saw the heating, I was like, I freaking need this flat. For 4 years I didn't have heating in Spain, and it was not great, not great. I was dreaming about a day when I can have an apartment with the heating. And it's totally a game changer, because in other flats, the only thing they have is the air conditioner with kind of warm air, you know. I'm gonna show you it as well. Well, I mean, you know how the air conditioner looks. So here I have it, and you can put the hot temperature here, so 32 degrees. It never reaches 32, obviously, but this is what I had before to survive Spanish winters. And air conditioners are essential for summer in Spain, of course. It gets really hot. But for winter, it just doesn't work for me. The air doesn't really heat up that much, and it's very expensive because it's electrical. And the second you turn it off, well, okay, 10 minutes after you turn it off, there is nothing left of the warm air, you know. It's not like when you have heating, you turn it off, it's still hot. After some time it slowly, you know, cools down. But the air conditioner, the second you turn it off, it's all gone, like it was never on. And in general, like, it's not nice when the air is moving, you know, it's not the same as the normal heating. And what else Spanish people use here? It's these small portable heaters with hot air that are called estufa, which they just put here and there for a short time because they're very expensive, but they heat up really quickly. So for example, you're on the sofa watching a movie, you want to be cozy and warm, you just put it on for an hour or something. Or you heat up the bedroom before going to sleep. then you turn it off again, because the electrical bills are gonna be crazy. And then you have blankets, tees, and a lot of clothes, a lot of like sweaters and really thick pajamas that I never had to purchase before. Yeah, to survive here. But yeah, us people who come from northern countries that are used to having super warm insides because outside is way too cold, we just suffer here. I suffer from October to like April. For me it's just cold in the flat all the time. Well, this year is better because I have heating. Oh my god, finally. But before it's just a struggle. Like it's a struggle. Like I'm constantly with a blanket, with a tea all night long. When I work at home, like the fingers are literally frozen. So yeah, if you think that you're going to Spain and you can just wear a t-shirt all year long, no, I'm sorry to tell you, you're gonna have like the thickest sweaters you ever had here in winter. But on the other side, when you go outside, when you do something outside and you are dressed warmly in jackets and everything, it's really warm and it's nice and it's sunny and the sun really heats up even in winter. So the weather is really great. It's just that the temperature inside is gonna be more or less the same as outside. That's it. I hope this video was useful and interesting. Subscribe to my channel and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.